so I had no idea that there was construction happening.
You know there were cars on the road?
No.
Well, hopefully this last extension, we can say things can start to
Well,
move forward.
he extended it to May 18th, yeah.
I heard he was gonna extend it a month, but they said you might not wanna do that. Cause be rioting otherwise. So I think, I had a feeling that by the 18th, he's gonna extend it one more time, yeah.
Yeah.
You see what the numbers at Centricare are doing, you know, it's still, they're climbing.
It's climbing.
So once they can see locally even, we'll see them starting to say.
But they're increasing the tests, the amount of tests.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that number is gonna increase.
But also when you look at admissions into the hospital,
Yeah.
climbing quite a bit.
Okay, yeah.
And positive tests are, I mean, we
Actually,
jumped.
The other key indicator is ICU rooms. So right now, there's like 135 people in ICU across the state. We only have like 275 or 300.
There's not that
ICU rooms
many.
available. So if you put even just people that need to be in ICU plus the people from COVID, you're probably at 3/4 capacity. So that's what they're gonna watch. I
Yeah.
guarantee it, because
Yeah.
once
Oh,
you
yeah.
go over that, then you're going to the triage too, and trying to figure out.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's open this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, number 2, approval of the agenda. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Jamie makes a motion. How about a second?
I'll second it, Gary.
Gary seconds it. Any discussion on it? Otherwise, it'll be a roll call vote. Jamie,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. That motion passes.
For you on the screen, Councilmember Miller is not present, just so that you're aware.
Yes.
And caller 1, could you identify yourself?
What's the number right now?
Uh,
I think Brian Schulmer just jumped on it.
I don't know if it lets me. Let me see.
Bridget, I don't know what caller I am, but Scott Bender's here.
Oh, okay, I think that's you.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right, thank you. Okay, sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Public hearing. Cold Spring Brewery TIF request. I will open this hearing at 6:02. You, yes.
Mayor, council,
Hi.
good evening. So we have a couple of items on your agenda tonight. Obviously, the first one being the public hearing that you just mentioned, Mayor. You do have a TIF plan that is in your packet this evening, along with a memo that summarizes that plan. Before I get into that memo, I'd just like to make a few comments related to the plan, being that it likely looks a bit different than other plans that you've seen in the past. So in the plan itself, you likely saw that there are a number of references to a 75% capture. And the reason for that is because, as you'll recall, the city council elected an ad hoc committee to be put together to deal with the number of development items that were going on with the brewery, not only related to the utilities and infrastructure needs of the brewery, but also because the city had received a request for tax increment financing related to the development of a distribution and warehousing facility to be located here in the city. That application was originally submitted based on 100% capture. So as the committee discussed the request, it was determined that the committee wanted to see a lesser request brought forward for full council consideration. And that's why you're seeing in that plan that reference throughout to the 75% capture. Northland did provide some analysis based on our estimates at 75%. That was provided back to the brewery, and we did receive an indication that was acceptable to the
Okay.
brewery. So that's what's in the plan, and that's what's informed the information that's in the plan tonight. Are there any questions about that percentage capture?
None for me.
None from me. Anybody else? Apparently not.
Okay, with that, I will just dive into that memo. I'm not going to spend a lot of time unless there are questions about the specific plan. The memo is provided to give you that high-level detail. The plan can get rather lengthy, as we know, and there are a number of sections in there that are just designed to comply with statute, and therefore there's just some additional information that we likely don't need to spend time on this evening. But let me know if you do want to cover anything in the plan itself. So, as the city is aware, you have received an application for financial assistance from Cold Spring Brewing Company, which we'll refer to as the developer throughout the conversation tonight, related to the proposed construction of of an approximate 644,000 square foot warehousing and distribution facility to be located in the city of Cold Spring. The proposed parcel that would be located in the district is approximately 72 acres of vacant land. You will see in the memo that's before you, this cites that the parcel is currently located in Wakefield Township. I do understand that annexation has been approved by both the city and the town, so there's just some process and documentation that's necessary at this point. On March
Yes.
31st,
Hold on. What did you want now?
Identify her. Because there's people on who don't know.
Oh, can you
Sure.
identify? Yeah.
I'm Jessica Green with Northland
Sorry.
Securities. We serve as a financial consultant to the city as well as municipal advisor.
Could everyone mute their phones, please? Okay.
Okay. So, when we met last month at the end of March, the City Council decided to call for a public hearing, which is what we're here for tonight. And with the public hearing, what we're considering is the establishment of Municipal Development District Number 6 and Tax Increment Financing District 6-1. When we went over some of the terms related to TIF and the basics of TIF at the meeting last month, we talked about the need for the establishment of a development district, which will essentially house the tax increment district. So that's why we're also looking at that Municipal Development District Number 6. So in terms of the background on the TIF authority, TIF is used as a financing tool to promote economic development, redevelopment, and housing development in areas where it would not otherwise occur. We are looking at the establishment of okay, thank you. We're looking at the establishment of an economic development TIF district, and as such, the duration of an economic development district is limited to a total of 9 years, so 8 years after the collection of the first amount of increment. So a city or other authority such as an EDA may use increment to finance public improvements and other qualifying costs related to new development that generates an increase in the tax capacity. So certain findings must be made by the city or the authority governing the district when approving a TIF district, including a finding that the project as proposed is feasible only through assistance, in part from tax increment financing. And this is commonly referred to as the but-for finding or the but-for test. Okay, so related to economic development TIF districts, they are set up to provide assistance for the development of manufacturing facilities, warehousing facilities, and then some other eligible uses. Tax increments from economic development districts can be used to provide improvements, loans, subsidies, grants, interest rate subsidies, or assistance in any form for developments that are consistent with providing for buildings and ancillary facilities as long as certain conditions are met. Those conditions are that it will discourage commerce, industry, or manufacturing from moving their operations to another state or municipality, or that it will result in an increase in employment in the state, or that it will result in the preservation or enhancement of the tax base of the state. Based on the development as we understand it, we meet all three of those considerations. So, the project as proposed to the city by the developer qualifies as an economic development TIF district. The project is for warehousing, storage, and distribution, and based on our understanding, no less than 85% of the project will be used for those purposes. TIF does allow for a small amount of the facility in itself to be used for things like office space, so that's why they're talking or speaking to that 85%. In terms of the process for approval, the first step is developing or identifying a project area, and with that we have identified or proposed to be established Municipal Development District number 6. The second part is the creation of the TIF plan, and that is before you in your packet this evening. And then once the TIF district is actually established, the city can then move forward into contracts with the developer in the proposed or in a development agreement, and that would be proposed to be brought before the city council, on May 12th. In terms of process, the city is required to provide notice to the the school and the county 30 days ahead of the TIF district. We did provide that notice just after that meeting on March 31st. We have not received any comments back from the county at this point. We do know that the school district reviewed the plan and provided their approval based on the draft plan that was submitted to them. So following the public hearing this evening, there is a resolution for consideration by council as well. So the public hearing is required ahead of that resolution being considered by the city council. And then in the next couple of pages, what you've got here is just some information as far as how to sort of navigate the TIF plan. Again, there are a number of sections within that TIF plan, being that it does comply with statute. So the first few sections refer to the establishment of the Municipal Development District number 6. Section 3 moves into the project description. Again, a large 644,000 square foot warehousing and distribution facility. We are again considering an economic development TIF district. The estimated tax increment based on that 75% capture in year 2 of the district is expected to be $490,321. And this is based on a number of assumptions. What we are anticipating is that the taxable market value of the property would be in year 2 again, $26.7 million. This is based on the good faith estimate that was provided by the county. The county provided a value roughly $26.4 million, That 26.7 number is reflective of a 1% appreciation per year. We are assuming that the classification of the property would be considered commercial industrial. And the estimates that we've used are based on the payable 2020 tax values and tax rates. So then we are at the top of page 5 in that summary memo. The tax increment revenue will be used to pay project costs. And when I say project costs, I'm referring to not only the anticipated amount to be reimbursed to the developer on a pay-go basis, it's also the amount that will be retained by the city to cover any costs that the city incurs as a result of the district. So total increment is expected to be, or estimated to be, $4,273,717, of which $4,183,343 would be provided to the developer on a pay-go basis. $85,374 would be retained by the city for any administrative costs as a result of the district, and then we've just got a small number in there for potential interest expense. In terms of bonded indebtedness, the plan refers to bonded indebtedness. Statute refers to any obligation that is issued as a result of a TIF district as bonded indebtedness. So that pay-go note that would be proposed to be issued to the developer is considered bonded indebtedness by the state. However, we are not anticipating that the city would be issuing any bonds as a result of this project. And then just a note there again on duration that the city would elect for the full duration of 9 years, which is the maximum duration allowed for the district. And then in overall property taxes, there's just some information there at the bottom that speaks to the fact that the city is electing to retain 75% of the captured increment to support the project, with 25% of the captured increment to be dispersed amongst the taxing jurisdictions. So you may be wondering what that means overall for the city. And what that would likely look to in terms of our estimated analysis is that approximately $60,000 would be returned to the city on an annual basis based on the full development being assessed to the property. And then finally, we've just got a note here about the fact that certain taxes cannot be collected in terms of the district itself. So any referendum taxes or state property taxes are considered to be collected outside of the district. So our estimate here is that $40,774 would be collected as referendum taxes and not included in the district, and that in terms of state taxes, $207,180 would be collected in state taxes. And then at the end, you've just got a restatement of our estimated increment per year based on year 2. And again, being based on that estimated market value of $26.7 million. With that, I am happy to take any questions that you might have. We do have representation here from the project as well, should there be questions for them.
JB got something?
No questions for me, they've all been answered.
Shannon's on the line too yet, so does anybody on the council have any questions right now? If not, then I will call for questions and testimony from the audience. I'll be doing this 3 times, so.
So you better know.
What's that?
Make sure they all know. Yeah, go ahead.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
There's a Gary in caller 3 that if they would mute, I think it'd be easier for everybody to hear.
Gary's on caller 3. Gary, did you call in with another phone?
No, I did not.
Okay. Is there a different Gary?
Although Bridget, you disappeared, what I have now on my screen is special city council meeting.
That's the title.
Not sure where you,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure where you, oh, there you are.
I took my camera off because you all have your camera off.
Oh, well, we want to look at you.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Okay,
Either that or put up a list of who's on.
I think I can. There.
And that's caller 3 will do it.
There we go. I turned my camera. Can you all? I'll share my screen. So all of you on can see the names of the people who are on the side right there.
Just make sure,
There it is.
just make sure they mute their phones.
Everybody just mute your phones if you can, if you're not going to speak.
does anybody have any comments?
Where we're at now is the mayor is asking for comments from the
Yes,
audience?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, does anybody have any comments or questions? Going once?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to speak.
Yes, go ahead.
Those are with Adventure Properties. I really appreciate the city's efforts, especially Bridget has been masterful in this project, and just everybody's time and work that has gone into this project. So from us, from Adventure, and I know from Scanell and from Cold Spring Brewing and our team members, that we really appreciate all the time and effort and look forward to a very successful project, so thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? I think that's 3 times.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
Mayor, is that for the audience or?
Yes, that's for the audience. That's for everybody.
Okay, have you already gone through the council?
Yes, I did once. Go ahead, but if you've got something, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I think what happened.
That's right.
We were communicating back and forth with Bridget. I would just like to make a comment regarding, this is Gary. I would like to make a comment regarding the TIF. I'm very pleased that the city was able to work this out with the brewery, that we're going to agree to 75% instead of the original 100% request. That was my comment.
Thank you, Gary. Does anybody else have anything? Otherwise, I am going to close this hearing at 6:18. Then I will read a recommendation. Recommendation to adopt Resolution 2020-21, a resolution establishing tax increment Financing District number 6-1 and approving a tax increment financing plan related thereto. I need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
This is Gary, I will make a motion.
Gary makes a motion, Jamie
I'll
seconds it.
second.
Any discussion from the city council?
None from me.
Otherwise, we will vote on it. Jamie,
Yes.
Doug,
Just gotta unmute. You're muted, Doug.
Doug, you're mute. There you go. Yes, okay. Gary,
Yes.
how about Shannon?
You're muted, Shannon.
Shannon?
Top right corner, Shannon, that little microphone.
Oops.
Are there two Shannons on?
That might be a different Shannon.
That might be our Shannon from.
Oh,
okay.
that's a different Shannon.
Our Shannon from Inventures Group.
Okay, okay. Well, then Shannon's not here.
Then Shannon's not here.
Okay, and I'm a yes. So that motion passes. We got next one.
Yep.
Discussion on financing the CSAH County Road 158 First Street South project.
Mayor,
again.
council.
Hi, Jess.
Jessica Green, again with Northland, proposing to work as the city's municipal advisor in connection with the financing. Go ahead.
Thanks everybody that was involved at the brewery thing. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your leadership, especially during this difficult time. It's a great statement to make to our community.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This is Brian Demas, the CEO at the brewery. We really appreciate everybody's cooperation. It's been a long road. A lot of folks put a lot of work into this. And I'm sitting at home and now this is past 5-0. I don't know if you can see me.
Thank you very much.
I noticed that's wine, not beer, apparently.
And this is wine, and I know you guys are all a bunch of gophers, but that's my Ohio State.
Boy, you're really gonna rub it in.
Thank you to everyone. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody.
All right, now we
Okay.
can go on.
All right. So the next item on your agenda is a proposed municipal advisory service agreement with Northland to work in cooperation with the city to prepare for and hopefully eventually issue general obligation improvement bonds related to the County Road 158 project. So prior to getting into the finance plan that is later on your agenda, we have the service agreement with Northland. There's a number of areas in here related to the scope of services to be provided. I won't go through each and every one, being that we've acted in this capacity for the city in the past, and that some of these we've already started in good faith, assuming that we would sort of see this project through. But in terms of planning and development, of course, assisting the city with defining the scope and the objectives for the overall financing, looking at different financing alternatives, which is something that we've worked with Bridget and Chris on, understanding some of the risks that may be involved with issuing debt, preparing a schedule of events, etc. And then moving on into the bond sale, what we would propose to do is to work with the city to prepare the preliminary official statement that has already been drafted and submitted to the rating agency. And separate note on that, we do have a rating call with Standard & Poor's scheduled for next Wednesday morning. Working with both the city and bond council in preparing the official notice of sale, preparing and submitting applications for the bond rating, which is something that we've already done, working with the city in receiving bids and looking at the accuracy of the bids received, recommending to the city, of course, the most favorable bid for award, coordinating with bond counsel the preparation of the required contracts and resolutions regarding the sale of bonds. And then in terms of the post-sale support, working with the city on the final official statement, distribution to the underwriter, and posting on Emma. Coordinating with the closing, including the making of all the arrangements for the printing of the bonds, registration and delivery. Final transcript to be provided to the city as well, and making sure, again, that proceeds are provided to the city, most importantly. So for that scope of services, we are proposing that a lump sum of $19,640 be paid to Northland Securities based on the closing of the bonds. So if something happens between now and then and the bonds don't close, we are not owed anything. This is simply if the bonds actually move forward to sale. With that, I am happy to take any questions that you have on the service agreement prior to getting into that finance plan.
Anybody have any questions?
None from me.
Otherwise, I'm going to read a recommendation. Recommendation to approve entering into a municipal advisory service agreement with Northland Securities Incorporated. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Jamie makes a motion. How about a second?
This is Gary, I'll second.
Gary seconds it. Any discussion on it? Otherwise, we'll vote. Jamie,
Yes.
Doug,
You're muted.
you're muted, Doug. I see you said yes. Yeah, okay.
We saw you say yes.
And Gary,
Yes.
and I'm a yes, so that passes. Then we'll just go on to number 5, resolution number 20, where am I? Resolution number 2020-22, a notice for sale of government obligation bonds series 2020A. Same thing as you said before, right? We'll just go right to the recommendation then. Recommendation to adopt resolution number 2020-22, a resolution approving notice of sale for the issuance of $3,500,000 general obligation improvement bond series 2020A.
Did that get changed?
Mayor, I would just reflect
Okay.
one change, that the proposed issuance amount is $3,005,000.
That's it.
$3,005,000.
Correct.
Okay. Take that other 5 out of there then. Okay. Did you all get that? It was changed to $3,005,000. Is there a motion on that?
This is Doug, I'll make that motion.
Doug makes a motion. How about a second?
I'll second.
Jamie seconds it. Any discussion on it? Otherwise, we'll vote. Jamie,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So that motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you want me to go through the finance plan?
No, do you,
Okay.
We'll go on to number 6. Next scheduled city council regular meeting is May 12th, 2020. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Jamie makes a motion. How about a second?
I'll second it.
Doug seconds it. Any discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Jamie.
Yes.
Doug. Doug, yes or no?
Yeah.
Gary.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.